pull up a chair and sit your pretty little butt down because I'm gonna tell you a story. A story of a man with only one goal, to play WoW retail. Now, I'm no stranger to WoW, more of an acquaintance than it meant like a year ago and then forgot about. I've played a little bit, and by a little bit I mean probably like 6 accounts that made it to level 12 and then stopped. Recently I've been playing some WoW Classic and I've been having fun, but I've kind of hit a point where it became a grind fest, so I wanted to experience WoW retail and what it truly feels to play it. So this is my journey, to make a character and stick with him until level 60. First and foremost, I had to decide on a realm. After looking through the realm list, I decided that Boulder Fist sounded like the place to be. As for our hero, I used deductive reasoning to narrow down on what I wanted him to be. First and foremost, I wanted to step outside my comfort zone and do something that I've never really done before, which is DPS. Every game I've played that features roles like tank and healer, I tend to gravitate towards the support or tank side because I like supporting and helping my team. But this time it was different. I wanted to be on the front lines, dealing damage and causing chaos. For that reason, I decided I wanted to be a Death Knight. I also heard that they could spread plague and shit, which sounded really fucking cool. I also heard that they could summon minions to help them in battle, which goes hand in hand with my crippling anxiety because after all, who needs friends when you can just summon them? As for my race, I ruled out any of the Horde races. As much as I like the Horde, I get kind of tired of seeing the same brown and gray color palette for almost each and every single area. Looking towards the Alliance side, since I didn't really have any of the DLC that eliminated any of these races, I also immediately ruled out gnomes because fuck gnomes. They're little ugly goblins that are a plague on this land. After looking at the options I had left, I decided that Worgen was the choice. Because what's scarier than seeing a giant fucking furry barreling towards you on all fours ready to infect you with God knows what? After carefully crafting him, I decided to name this wrinkly old bastard Whimwim. Also, don't question why he's old. Gramps has seen some shit. I hit the Enter World button and began my journey to level 60. Immediately, I'm thrown into some serious shit. I stand before the Lich King, Lord of all undead. He has summoned me, along with thousands of others, to assist him in ridding the land below of a group known as the Scarlet Crusade. Obeying my lord, I immediately go to get armaments and meet with Instructor Resuvius so he can explain to me how my gear works. Or at least he was going to, had the asshole not walked off mid-conversation.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
After accepting a few quests, I craft my rune blade and return to this Wilhelm cosplayer where he instructs me to free a prisoner and fight him to the death. Because apparently I'm just a dominatrix that gets off to killing people. He then quotes Jigsaw like an edgy freak and hands me the key to the prisoner's shackles where I immediately head off and pick this poor bastard to slaughter. Eventually, I find myself heading towards the ground and onto a camp, where I can finally start getting into some action. I blindly accept some more quests, where then I have to fight some of my comrades, because I guess I have to go through some initiation, which honestly just kind of sounds like an excuse to beat up the new guy for fun. Nevertheless, I emerge victorious in all of my battles. I'm then instructed to head down to the hill where I will be mercilessly killing the civilians of the nearby town along with its militia. Now, this may look like I'm murdering someone in cold blood, but I assure you, he was holding an axe like 2 seconds ago and I genuinely feared for my life and acted out of self-defense. After killing over half the town population and stealing a horse for no reason, I continue to blindly accept quests and complete them all. That is, until I came to this quest, Massacre at Light Point. Immediately after accepting the quest, I ran over to the waypoint to try and kill some of the guards, only to be immediately slaughtered within actual seconds. I assumed that this was an error on my part, and that I had simply just aggroed too many. I run from the graveyard all the way to my death point so that I can revive and attempt to take it slow. I slowly inch forward and use my pole to nab one of them out of range so I can take him on solo. Unfortunately, this didn't work because his nearby friends woke up from their comatose state and ran over to spread my ass cheeks wide open and teach me a lesson, killing me a second time. Confused and bewildered, I opened the quest log and discovered that I had to go to a nearby mine and hide in a minecart to get behind enemy lines. This is probably a sign that I just really need to stop blindly accepting these and actually fucking read for once. I head on over to the minecart I'm supposed to crawl in and take cover, where one of the guards mistakenly thinks that it's one that he forgot and brings me deep behind enemy lines into the belly of the beast. I'm then brought onto the ship behind enemy lines and then crawl out of the minecart that can for some reason hold something twice its size and evaluate my current situation. I'm stuck deep behind enemy lines with absolutely no fucking clue what to do. I couldn't handle 5 of these dudes, let alone the hundreds that stand before me. If only I had some kind of magical book that told me what to do step by step. But unfortunately, such a magical thing just doesn't exist in this game. After some investigative work that would put Sherlock Holmes himself to shame, I discovered that I could actually operate the cannons on the ship. I took control of one and swiftly got to work slaughtering the poor helpless bastards that stood before me. After thoroughly carpet bombing them, I decided that my job was done, and I returned to turn in the quest. I'm then instructed to head past the farms and deep into town where I am to slaughter more innocent people, because God knows these guys haven't suffered enough already. On my way into town, I also happened to run by Grandpa, who told me to pick up some supplies while I was in town so that he could make some of his bangin' soup, which I happily accepted. Excited for Grandpa's soup, I had walked into this tavern to see if they had a cauldron I could borrow, and then they all just started screaming at me, which was actually kind of rude and really hurt my feelings. This guy even went so far as to call me scourge scum, which really tipped me over the edge and got my blood boiling. I decided if he was going to be an asshole, I was going to steal his pot instead of borrowing it. That's what you get, fuckface. Choose your words carefully next time. I then ran down the road to the blacksmith to grab this absurdly large chain. Like seriously, look at how fucking big this thing is. What purpose does this have sitting in this corner? So many questions left unanswered, but unfortunately, I was on a time crunch. I returned to Grandpa to give him the supplies, where he happily cooked me some of his soup, which was truly bangin'. I then ran into Prince Keleth, who claimed that he had heard rumors of an organization called the Crimson Dawn, and wanted me to find out what it was. He handed me a weapon that claimed it was highly effective at persuading people it hit to spill their beans. I can assure you, whoever wrote this description was lying through their crooked fucking teeth, because I had to kill at least 5 people before one of them even spilled their precious info, and that's not very effective in my book. After returning to Keleth and giving him the info that I had learned, he told me to report to Orbaz Bloodbane for my next assignment, which guess what? Was to go somewhere and kill more innocent people. And also to find a patrol schedule so that I could kill some courier or some shit. I don't fucking know. I'm kind of just blindly accepting quests at this point. While looking for the schedule, I found this dude who looked like he was taking a really good nap, so I let him be. I eventually found the schedule and returned to Orbaz, who got pissy at Therisdan over here because he wanted to save his friend. Therisdan then instructed me to go back to the place I was literally just at seconds beforehand to rescue his little boy toy. So I had to run all the way back, kill more innocent people, and then found out that his friend was Nap Dude in the basement here. I then rudely woke him up so that we could escape together, only to be attacked by a few guards that had decided to run down into the basement to prevent us from leaving. He put up an anti-magic shield and told me to stand in it or else I would die, but I honestly just kind of ignored him because I don't know if my armor's that good or what, but I'm taking literally no damage here. Eventually we escaped from the castle and I returned to Therisdan, who sends me to some other dude I honestly just really couldn't give a fuck about. This dude then tells me to go kill one of his prisoners because he's too much of a little weenie to do it himself. I approach the prisoner, only to find out that he is a fellow Worgen who claims to recognize me from a past life, and begs me to put him out of his misery. I'm gonna be honest, I hesitated because I'm kind of sick of killing innocent people at this point, but I decided to do it anyway. Truly stricken with grief, I cry. I then take a moment to recuperate my feelings, as I have a job to do and can't waste any time. I then continue my quest to kill the Scarlet Courier, with what is quite possibly the best disguise in history. I then return to the Lich King, who instructs me once again to carpet bomb the Scarlet Soldiers, because the first time wasn't enough apparently. After killing hundreds, the Lich King then tells me that there is one thing left to do, which is to assault Light's Hope Chapel. He tells me to report to Commander Thalnor and prepare for battle. I do so, where we wait as our forces gather before we begin our final assault. To boost morale, my ally Shadow here gallops in circles on his horse while I dance with what is quite possibly the worst dance you could have given a werewolf-like creature. Like seriously, what is this? After waiting for around 5 minutes, our forces amass and the sky begins to rain blood. With the strength of a tsunami, our forces diverge into Light's Hope Chapel and clash into what I can only describe as a mosh pit. I honestly have no idea what the fuck is going on at this point. I'm just wandering around trying to find something to hit amongst the crowd. After a long battle that we clearly and definitely won, our forces get fucking Thanos snapped out of nowhere, and we are forced to stand down before Tyrion Fordring. We sit and watch this super long event that goes on for like 5 actual minutes that just throws my attention span out the window. Then the Lich King shows up to do shit himself because he figured that we would just die, which causes a fight between him and Tyrion. Also, I guess Darion over here woke up or some shit because he helps Tyrion over here kill the Lich King. Or at least weaken him? I'm kind of lost at this point. I don't really know what's going on. Darion here then instructs me to return to Archarius and kill some of the soldiers around because I guess the Lich King lost control over his Death Knights from the ensuing fight. I think... I'm gonna be honest here, I kind of spaced out for this entire cutscene and just did not retain any of the information that was revealed in it. After slaughtering what I once considered allies, I returned to Darion, who then claims he's established the Order of the Evenblade, and then requests that I deliver a letter to King Anduin of Stormwind and seek the aid of the Alliance so that we can survive. I then rush towards a nearby portal that will take me to Stormwind so I can begin to deliver this letter. But surely as a Death Knight, I am shunned in the city of Stormwind. How will I ever manage to deliver this letter to the king himself? Well, to answer that question, we'll just have to wait until part 2.